So I wore a couple of these helmets this morning, and it's quite noticeable the difference between an aero helmet, which we've got here, and a more ventilated helmet. Did you think about that when you were racing?
Not for a long, long time. I mean, you know, most of the time when you're young, it's just you just use what you're given, and you know they're sponsors, and you just expect the sponsors to give you the best product. But that hasn't always been the way, really. And I think it's only really happened in the last 10 years, maybe through what we did at Sky and kind of pushing the boundaries. And certainly, I think, you know, we were the first ones in the 2010 Giro to use a filled-in helmet. We just had, you know, covers made, and we were laughed at. But now, you know, it's kind of everyone uses them in the peloton.
Well, everyone knows that the benefits are there.
The benefits, of course, are now there for everyone to see. Skin suits as well, and just aerodynamics, narrow handlebars, all that. So everything's gone aerodynamic for more speed. But there are points, you know, certainly once that thing goes uphill, they become very, very hot. And helmets like this that have kind of still got that aero shape and stuff, but with more ventilation, is definitely something I'd lean towards and kind of lose a little bit of the watts and things like that.
That's what I was going to say, like post-retirement, you probably don't need to go so much for the performance side.
No.
I kind of laughed at myself because I still like an aero helmet. I want to go as fast as I can, so that's kind of the sort of type of helmet that I go towards. But then I can totally see if it is summertime and it's super hot, which, you know, we've had a couple of nice summers now in this country, so it is something to take kind of a little bit of care about and know that it will hurt if you're out you know, for a 3-hour ride and you're pushing on and it's 30 plus degrees, you'll feel it.
It's noticeable when it's hot and you're climbing, just the amount of sweat that comes down, and once it starts getting in your eyes and on your glasses, if you've got sun cream on and your eyes start stinging, I mean, it does become, you know, kind of a disadvantage, really. So it's about finding the right balance. If you're racing at elite level, quite often riders will change helmets for different stages. If it's a sprint stage, if it's a, you know, if it's a hilly stage, they'll change helmets and kind of not worry too much about saving watts and things like that.
Definitely. So I think it's probably worth considering, depending on if you're going to go to, say, Europe or the south of France or somewhere where it's likely to be predictably hot, then maybe you should think about the helmet use. And then, but otherwise, you know, in the wintertime, you could get away with, you know, aero helmets are halfway to a filled-in helmet anyway, and then you're faster and warmer.
Definitely.
You know, we'd often wear a cap or you know, a hat under our helmets, and those things can obviously help keep our heads warm, which is equally something to consider. Yeah,
I think if you're kind of, you know, it's a hobby that you love and enjoy and spend a lot of money and a lot of time on it, and the weekends are your kind of freedom, then I don't think you really need to go over the top air. It's about comfort, it's about safety. You know, you want a helmet that fits you properly. To the end of the day, as much as they become a technical advantage, you know, they are for a reason, and they do save lives. And I quite like a quite compact helmet. You know, I don't like a kind of big mushroom head thing. You know, just a nice little sort of well-comforted helmet, really, that does the job as well. I quite often like helmets that are thought out, that if you are climbing for periods of time and it is hot, that the glass is fitting nicely just on top of the head, so you don't kind of have to get over the climb and you've got sweat running down the lenses. So just little things like that I kind of look for.